YouTube fucking world? Billy fucking Paz here in the driver's seat here in the motherfucking work truck. You can see all sorts of trees and shit behind me and shit. It's a crazy nice weekend here in, what town am I in? Fuck you, Massachusetts. I ain't telling you. We're in Massachusetts right now. It's a fucking beautiful weekend. The sun is out, man. Honeys are everywhere. Right, not right here, of course. I'm in the woods. But everybody I know right now is going to the beach, okay? I'm not going to the beach because I'm not really in swimsuit material apparel, you know, yet. I'm not looking that great. And, yeah, women just don't like this ring, you know? Even though I do that 4 horsemen thing all the time. Like, yeah, baby. 4 horsemen, daddy. Woo! Anyways, here to tell you about how I got into pro wrestling. All right, I've probably told this story before. And if you were subbed to my old channel, one of my old channels, Billy Paz 1, with the number 1, you probably already know the story, so you go ahead and click right out. But basically, I always love hearing people do video responses to this shit because everybody's answer is different. You know, nobody's the same. Nobody's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 this was cool, that was cool. You know, it's almost like a little insight about who you are as a person, and it's what separates us as people. And it's cool as shit. So, let's get down to it. Billy fucking Paz got into wrestling, okay? First things first, I didn't have TV as a kid. Like, I had a TV, but I didn't have cable. Okay, most kids, you know, my parents split up when I was mad young. I had to go live with my grandparents, which was how I got into pro wrestling, honestly. We didn't have cable because my grandparents are old school as shit. You know, every weekend we'd go buy a videotape, blah, blah, blah. We'd go buy every week, you know, my brother, my sister, and I would go to fucking Sam's Club or Kmart or Walmart, and we'd always pick out a VHS tape. You ever heard of a VHS tape, guys? I know you new kids are like, huh? But VHS, so we'd pick one out, and it was my turn to pick it out, and it was like this dude with like, on a ladder, and they were falling, and I was like, that looks cool. My grandma was like, yeah, that's cool, that's wrestling, Bill, let's check that out. You know, I bet you'll like it. So we got it, and I was about 7 years old, something like that. 1995 VHS release of Most Amazing Matches. Yes, had Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, SummerSlam 1995. Never forget it. Yeah, good old Doc Hendricks, a.k.a. The hell, Michael Hayes, you know, the Fabulous Freebirds. I fucking hate bicyclists. Assholes think they own this road. So Doc Hendricks is there saying, oh, you gotta check out this match from SummerSlam 95. He's hyping this shit up, right? And I'm like, this is cool, it's cool. You know, watch some good matches. Watch like the Bret Hart versus the Jerry Lawler Kiss My Foot match. And, you know, they showed this ladder match, and that was what made me a fan, man. Fucking... And you say, Paz, how the hell do you remember, you know, SummerSlam? How do you not confuse it for WrestleMania? I remember those blue fucking tights, Shawn Michaels. I remember them, man. That's how I remember them. I was like, oh, those are cool pants. Holy shit, he just did a dive off the ladder, man. Oh, so, love the SummerSlam match. Great stuff. Of course, I didn't really know what a great match was when I was a kid, but that is what hooked me. From there, we got, like, some kind of thing where you hook it up to your TV, like bunny ears, they call it. Basically, you hook it up to the back of your TV, and you kind of, like, move it around to get antenna signals. And we got, like, Fox and shit like that. So we would always get, like, Livewire on, like, sometimes we get USA. I was never allowed to really stay up late and watch Raw. So we'd watch that, and then, like, Saturday nights at, like, midnight, because it was a weekend and shit, you were able to, like, stay up all night. Me and my grandma would stay up all night drinking soda, you know, watching wrestling and shit. And that was really our common bond. My brother liked it, but he was never, like, obsessed with it, you know what I mean? Like, it was cool, all right? I mean, just loved it. Even growing up as kids, you know, I got my first video game console. I shouldn't say first, because I got Sega. And, yeah, I missed Super Nintendo and all that shit, unfortunately. So I got a Sega, like, years later. That was cool. Didn't really get any wrestling games for it because I kind of sucked at it. Didn't like them. But when I got my N64, man, me and my brother, right, we create our own wrestlers and shit like that. We create our own fucking pay-per-views because, like, that had a setting where you create your own pay-per-view. And we'd actually, like, record them on VHS tape and shit like that. And we'd go back and watch them later. It was cool as shit, dude. Loved it. Including that and, you know, WWF. WrestleMania 2000 had that. Loved Attitude Era, you know, just because, not Attitude, WWF Attitude. Played Warzone, sucked at that. I love that WCW NWO Revenge game. That was dope as shit. But yeah, just shows how big wrestling fans we are. Of course, from then on, I always bought VHS tapes as a kid. You know, it was just like when we go to Sam's Club or we go to Kmart, you know, my brother would pick something out. He'd pick out something baseball. My sister would pick out some stupid cartoon, being the younger girl she was. And Dad was always buying those wrestling VHS tapes. My grandmother always, you know, talked about going to the Boston Garden and shit like that, seeing people like Bruno Sammartino and shit. So it's cool to know that we have that common bond. I mean, I miss my grandma like fucking crazy, dude. I mean, me and her go back and forth, talk about wrestling all day, and it was cool because, like, I always liked heels as a kid, but she was always, you know, the fan favorite kind of guy. She always liked faces. So we go back and forth. I'd be like, yo, Triple H is going to kill The Rock. And she's like, no, The Rock's going to win. So that was our common bond, really. I miss my grandma like crazy all the time, thinking about it, guys. So it's weird, though. You know, you think about it, a lot of people will tell you that a family member got them into wrestling. And to me, I never would have expected my sweet old grandma to get me into pro wrestling. But much props to you, Graham. From there, moved out of my grandma's house when I was about 9. Only moving down like 2 miles away. My mom got remarried, so that's how that happened. You know, eventually we got cable, my house. This is like 98, 99, living with her and shit. It was cool. I got my own TV in my room, and of course everybody knows about Scramble Vision. You know, you type in channel 61 because that's what channel the pay-per-view was on. And you didn't see much. It was just kind of like scramble, but you could hear JR going, "Oh my God! King, did you see that? Ah!" That's how you watch the pay-per-views without dropping, you know, $50 a month, unless you had the box, which I never had. I always had friends that always had the box, but I never did, unfortunately. So I remember going to WrestleMania 14 with my grandma, you know, her and me, just going to Boston. Great stuff. I really didn't know what was going on at the time. I was pissed when Shawn Michaels lost the match because I was a huge Shawn Michaels fan. Still am, dude. #1 wrestler, honestly. What else can I say about that? So, also as a kid, like I said, the Scramble Vision, you know, you watch fucking pay-per-views without actually watching them. You just kind of listen, you see things going sideways. Also, what I do too is I put the closed captions on. I turn my brightness all the way down. You turn your contrast all the way down. So at night, 9 o'clock p.m., when you're supposed to be in bed by 8:30, you're up there watching wrestling with the captions on, and you're watching Raw is War, man. That was dope as hell when I was a kid. You know, you hear a couple footsteps coming down the hallway or something like that. You fucking click it off real quick, and your mom would be like, "Hey, I saw the TV flash. Don't turn it on again." As soon as she walked back, you know, you turn that shit right back on. Make sure it's on mute, though, boys. But yeah, it's just growing up in the 90s, man. Love wrestling. That's what got me into pro wrestling. My grandmother loved everything about it, man. You know, being a kid and wearing that Austin 316 shirt to school, you know, and just wrestling was cool. You know, nobody made fun of you because you wore a wrestling shirt. Not until you got a little bit older and you were in middle school, and it wasn't so cool to wear an Austin shirt. I soon found out that wasn't that cool. Yeah, so that is how I became a wrestling fan, and that's how I got into pro wrestling. Still love it today. Like I said, kind of reminds me of my grandma, so miss her there, but same time, you know, it's a way that I can still feel like she's there, and we can go back and forth sometimes, you know, and I think about her a lot. But pro wrestling, love it. Everything about it, from the athleticism, mostly the sports athleticism. That's what people always ask me, why do you watch this stuff? That's why. I watch it for wrestling. I don't watch it for the bullshit storylines. Do I like that? It's okay sometimes, but mostly I watch it because I want to see good matches. So, Billy fucking Paz, please make a video response to this. Please let me know, guys, how you got into pro wrestling, when you got into pro wrestling. Let me know all about it. There's going to be all little details y'all got. I know fucking I used to buy all sorts of action figures and shit like that when I was a kid. Crack them open, fucking put fucking guys through fucking tables with the shit, you know. Fucking, I used to have an old toy, right? You put the foot on the top of the Titantron, and it would say, "Now entering the Titantron, The Rock!" Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, make a video response, assholes. Because Billy Paz fucking said so! Yeah!